Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. I do have one quick favor before we get to the video that you came here for, and that is very simply this. You see that little red subscribe button below this video? Go ahead, smash that subscribe button. It really does help me. It really does help this channel grow and my audience grow. So go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. And now, here is the video that you came here for. Let's get to shout out of the day. Another staple of this show. For the longtime listeners, this is what I'm doing this week. Because I'm a man of the people. I am rewarding the longtime listeners of the podcast. And if you listen for a long time, you know that shout out of the day was a staple back when when we first started the show, but maybe 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. And basically what shout out of the day is the idea of bringing up a story that doesn't really have a place anywhere else in the show, and you're not sure how to fit it in and where does it go and and then you just bring it up and just give shout out of the day. So here's how it works. Let's do shout out of the day today, and shout out of the day goes to Pete Rose, the hit king, Pete Rose. Why does Pete Rose get the shout out of the day? Not sure if you saw this. Pete Rose is now officially selling baseball picks, gambling picks. Pete Rose. He signed up for a service called Uptick, I want to say. They call it a tout service. And for $89 a month, you can get Pete Rose's best baseball bet of the day, baby. Talk about steering into the skid. The best part was, by the way, I was reading about this. Pete Rose claims that he is not actually betting on the games himself. But hey, if you're Pete Rose, hit king, who just turned 80, by the way, this weekend. Shout out to Pete Rose. Happy birthday. If you're Pete Rose, he says, I'm not actually betting on him, but if I have this knowledge, why would I not share it with America for $89 a month? So shout out Pete Rose, shout out the Hit King, shout out $89 a month. Talk about steering into the skid, baby. But I will say, in defense of Pete Rose, a couple things. First off, as he said in the press release, and I think he's 100% right, the man does have to make a living, right? Like, you got to do something. And it's not like his relationship with Major League Baseball is good. It's not like Rob Manfred's going to call him in a day or a week or a month and be like, yeah, you know what? You know that 30-year ban that you've had? Yeah, screw it. It's over. Come to Cooperstown. Come hang out. Let's all put you in the Hall of Fame. Let's give you a plaque. It's not going to work. So if you're Pete Rose, you kind of say, screw it. I've tried. You know, sometimes I screwed up. I said some things I shouldn't have said, but I tried. I want to be in the Hall of Fame. But if you won't take me, what am I going to do? Get on my hands and knees and beg? I've been doing it for 30 years. So that's one. But two, let me also say this in defense of Pete Rose. Doesn't it feel a little bit hypocritical of Major League Baseball to right now, at this exact moment in time, still be holding it against Pete Rose that he bet on baseball? And I get it. You talk to people. Rob Parker, good friend of mine, hosted radio with him, Fox Sports Radio on Friday. Rob said, I cover Major League Baseball. I was in those clubhouses. First thing on the sign when you walk in, no betting on baseball. So if you're from that camp in that category, like, I get it. I really do. But it does feel a little hypocritical at this moment in time when sports gambling is being legalized. Like, literally every day we get a new press release about a new state that's legalizing sports gambling. Arizona last week announced they legalized sports gambling. You'll be able to bet on Diamondbacks games in Arizona by next fall. You'll be able to bet on, Arizona Cardinals games by next fall. That's on top of the fact that Colorado legalized gambling. What does Colorado have? The Rockies. Michigan legalized gambling. What does Michigan have? The Detroit Tigers. What about Illinois? Illinois legalized gambling. What does Illinois have? The Cubs, the White Sox. So doesn't it feel a little bit hypocritical from Major League Baseball to say, you know what? We're going to make a ton of money off this, but Pete Rose, you're a bad guy. Can't have you in the Hall of Fame, Pete Rose. Bet on baseball, but we're going to make a ton of money off this. Speaking of which, just for fun, I looked it up. Major League Baseball isn't innocent in this sports gambling gold rush. And listen, I get it. I talk sports gambling on this show. It's what we do. We're guys. We're girls. We want to put $10 on the game. It's no big deal. I don't care. But just for fun, I Googled official gambling partner of Major League Baseball. You know what article was the first one that popped up? BetMGM becomes the third sports book to become the official sports gambling partner of Major League Baseball. So to quote LeBron James, Major League Baseball has not one, not two, not three, but three. Okay, so not three, but three. legal sports gambling partners. I think the article was from 2022. It might be even more at this point. And so they're going to hold it against Pete Rose that he gambled 40 years ago when everybody does it now? When you are literally going to be able to go to some stadiums and bet from your phone with an app? Oh, by the way, some stadiums are going to have sports books in the stadium that you can bet in the stadium? And Pete Rose is the bad guy? Come on. Now listen, I'm not going to do the whole, like, Pete Rose needs to be in the Hall of Fame speech. Like, that's 1991 sports talk radio. We're above that. Not really, but we're sort of above it. But at the same time, yeah, MLB, get off your high horse, okay? MLB, get off your high horse. The Major League Baseball Hall of Fame is basically a baseball museum, okay? It's not a place where heart surgery is being done. It's not a place where cancer is being cured. It's a little museum for baseball. On top of that, and it's been discussed, this is not my original opinion, but every degenerate known to man is in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Babe Ruth was a womanizer. Ty Cobb was a racist. We have alcoholics. We have spousal abusers. We have whatever. Literal criminals. But Pete Rose bet on baseball, and he can't be in the Hall of Fame in the middle of the sports gambling gold rush? Makes no sense. Major League Baseball, get off your high horse, put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. But with that said, shout out of the day goes to Pete Rose, who has an official sports betting tout service. You can pay just a smooth $89 a month to get Pete Rose's best baseball bet.